I'll welcome all the participants to the 20th edition of the virtual lounge session. And as the coordinator, I would like to have the privilege of introducing the speaker for today, Mrs. Sushma Singh, wife of Mr. J.L. Singh, 65 batch, the president of our alumni association. And she's also the sister of Mr. Rajinder Malan, 66 batch. And I think she has more connections with the alumni than anybody else that I can think of. Um, uh, at the outset, I would like to express my thanks as the coordinator to Mrs. Singh
Mrs. Jayal Singh का talk है आज 7 o'clock.
for having agreed to take this session because the scheduled speaker was at a location where the broadband connection was not very good. And I'm very grateful to you, ma'am, for having accepted to take this session. We have already put out your brief on the notice board, but I'd like to just recount. Mrs. Sushma Singh is a graduate in English and then a postgraduate in sociology, followed by a bachelor's in B.Ed, Bachelor's of Education, and a postgraduate diploma in psychology. She has been a school administrator and educator in India and various countries abroad. I have always believed that the educators are the most challenging job. I mean, while SAMs in general we generally look after the design and maintenance and production of rolling stock and transport equipment. The educators look after the next generation. And we are indeed privileged to have you, ma'am. And I'll now like to hand over to you to take this session forward.
Thank you very much. Whenever I am introduced anywhere, I tell them that, look, I've done nothing great. By this time with gray hair, itna to kara hona hi chahiye tha. Yes. So, and I'm very nervous. Imagine talking to Jamalpurians. Oh my God. So all of you, please remember this, that I'm nervous. So you all better, whenever I go wrong, I think be very, nice to me. Okay. All right. Anyway, since when I started doing sociology, the main idea was I had done my BA in English honors before that and my B.Ed before after that. And I joined sociology because I was somehow intrigued by whatever I would read about, even in literature, when I read about the changes that were happening, what was happening in one country and then another country. So I decided to do sociology and understand society a little more. And I must say, it was a big learning for me. So, yeah. So, since time immemorial, one of the characteristics of any society is that it does not remain constant, but keeps changing. Right from the beginning, from the time when people used to just be hunters, and then later on they became gatherers, and after that they started the agriculture, they started living together, the communities and societies began. So that is since then, society, you can't even give any particular name to the word society. Yes, one thing we know is it keeps changing. As the requirement, as the needs, it keeps changing. And the only catch is in the last 50 odd years, 50, 60 years, these changes have been so fast that keeping up with them has become difficult and challenging, but exciting. I would like to quote my brother in law who's here right now, also, Mr. Manmohan Mehta. He is now around 80s, in his mid 80s. And I remember him saying he loves reading, he's an avid reader and interested in knowledge. And one day he tells me, I want to live till I'm 100. And I said, why? He said, because so many exciting things are going to happen. I don't want to miss out on them. The way science is, progressing and new innovations are happening. So, in fact, that is what I say. It's too much at times to understand as to why this is happening, but then I suppose that's the need of the day. And so, according to sociology, the definition of society is not just a group of people. It's complex, it's a dynamic system, interrelated relationships are there, culture is there, norms are there, institutions are there, the economy is there, customs are there, superstitions are there. All of this together makes what a society is all about. And that society has been changing. And now we feel that we need to understand this society better to be able to manage along with it the changes that are happening so fast. In fact, our generations, leaving out the younger Jamalpurians, if there are any over here, the younger batches, I think people around my age group and above, we have seen, I think we've seen it all. The way the changes have happened from no phones to handheld phones, and I don't know what's going to be next. You have wrist phones, etc. So these changes have been very unprecedented, but they're very interesting. So these transformations, these transformations have significantly increased life expectancy. Medicines, for example, the medical area also, the technological area, everything, and connected the world a lot. Unfortunately, what we are seeing today is the world is again getting disconnected. Despite being connected, we are getting disconnected. We are not being able to deal with these societal changes. That is what I feel. I may be wrong. That the whole problem is that we do not know how to handle it. So, I would like to just talk about my first idea or picture of what society is all about. So, this is a small anecdote I would like to share with you all. When I was in my master's in sociology, and we had to do some research work on it also, and one was customs, cults, and superstitions of 7 villages of Rajasthan. I was living in Ajmer at that time. My college was in Ajmer, and my professor took me to 7 villages of Rajasthan, but they were not too far off from Ajmer itself. So, what I still remember very clearly is going to one small village, and I went as I was dressed up, as a young person would be dressed up at that time. I was wearing a normal salwar kameez and a dupatta, and I'd gone. And when I went, we reached that village, that small little village with mud houses, and in the middle of that area was a khut, khatiya, जिसको बोलते हैं निवार की खटिया थी. And there was this old man with his hookah. He was the pradhan of that place, the head man of that place. So when I went there, with reluctance, a lot of reluctance, he allowed me to sit down. So my professor said, "Inko बिठाइए," in their language. So he made me sit down, and then he said, "I will send her inside the kutiyas. Let her go and talk to the ladies over there." First, they thought I had come from the government or something like that, you know. So I said, "No, no, I'm only studying." So they said, "हमको क्या मिलेगा इससे? आप पढ़ाई कर रहे हो, आप पढ़ाई में डालोगे, आपको मार्क्स मिलेंगे." दैट ओल्ड मैन सेज, "हमें क्या मिलेगा?" मैंने कहा, "नहीं, मेरे को ये सब नहीं पता है, पर मेरे को आकर अच्छा लग रहा है, कुछ शायद सीखने को मिले." So then anyway, I went into the huts where the ladies were. All of these ladies, you know, if you've been to Rajasthan, you would have seen the bright colors that they wear. They were all dressed up in those very bright lenga cholis and lots of bangles right up to their, nearly beyond their elbows also. And but their faces were all covered. So they looked at me, and one of them, who could speak a little Hindi, started scolding me. That was the first thing she did. She said in Rajasthani language, basically, she told me that you are dressed very badly, and this is not appropriate, the way you are dressed up. I was shocked. I was dressed from head to toe. So she says, "Nahi." I said, "What do you mean?" Then she said, "Mukhda dikha rahi ho. You're showing your face." So I was young blood. I said, but I think I'm better dressed than you are, more appropriately dressed than you are. She said, why? I said, apart from your face, I can see everything else about you. Because that is the type of clothes, the cholis and all they wear are very different. So they looked at me. I think somebody must have saved me at that day. Anyway, so I was going through, they were telling me, then I said, okay, let's forget this. Tell me about what you do when a child is born and beyond that, because this customs, cults, and superstition was my course. So they started off when children are born. They started there because that is where their thinking was. So I said, okay, what do you do when a child is born? How do you inform people? They said, we go onto the chat and beat something too. When a boy is born, we take a thali and beat it. And everybody comes to know we've got a boy. And when a girl is born, we take a cane का वो जो soup नहीं होता है जिससे you do the गेहूं. We take that and beat it. So I said, उसकी तो आवाज ही नहीं निकलती. There's no sound. He said, yeah, we don't want to inform people we've got a daughter because it's not a good omen. And we might even, maybe the elders might even bury the child as she is. Because not good to have a child. I was very upset. So, of course, after that, we got all the other information about right from birth to death. They even talked about Sati on that day. But in that village, Sati had stopped by then. But I came back very upset. On the way, I said, sir, is this what their society is like? He said, Sushma, you have to still go to 6 more villages. And sure enough, each village had its own customs. Each village had its own culture and their own thoughts. The nearer they were towards the city, they were more like us. The further they were away from there, they were so different. And that is when I understood the meaning of society. They all had their jobs, they all had their own work that they had to do, and they had their customs, which were so different from each other. And they made these customs and they were living by them customs. So if we look at society today, even if we look at, say, America, there is a society over there also. Like, they're still living in the olden days. If we go into our own places, maybe on the northeast side and all, we might come across such people there also. So what is society? Society is basically a group of people who are living and trying to make the best of the way they are living. But what has happened with our society or the cities or towns which are there, we have moved too fast. So the societal changes of the past have been unprecedented and driven primarily by the advancement of technology, globalization, and shifting cultural norms. These transformations have significantly increased life expectancy. Ladies used to die. Fatafat. JL's grandfather married 5 times because his wives kept dying. So that was what was happening. It was different. Society is changing so fast. And these transformations have changed so much. The world had become one. I don't know if you all remember. There used to be a song which we sang in school. At one stage, we are the world. I don't know how many of you remember that. Yeah, I would like to ask this question. How many of you have heard this song, The
Yeah,
World,
of
We Are
course
the World?
we.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, of course we have
this is
this
a very
song.
famous
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
Yes.
So at that time, the world was all about trying to get together after all the world wars and all that. And we were trying to share our knowledge. We were trying to be one. And if we look at between that time and today, what is happening today? Today we are again going back. I don't know where we are going. And all these changes, continuous changes are affecting the youngsters in a very big way. They are also a lost group of people. They also don't know because we don't know where we are. So that is what society is, and the challenges that are there today are big. Whether they are environmental challenges, whether they are medical challenges, we are not even sure today whether the medicines we are having are okay, or they're there because of people will be getting earning more out of them, the pharmaceutical industry. It's become a very scary time as well as a very challenging time. And of course, when you look at science and going to space, etc., that is another aspect of it. But what are we trying to achieve? What actually are we trying to achieve? Are we trying to become better people, better human beings, have a better society? Or are we going to keep competing with each other and start having space wars finally? We don't know. So, this is, and if I ask many of you, in fact, people who are in their 80s, late 80s and 90s will tell you about what all they saw. But even us who were there when we were who are in our 70s, and there are some people, I hope there are some people here like Mr. Narayan, who must be in his 50s. Narayan, how old are you?
35, ma'am.
Narayan never grew above 20.
Like,
Narayan never grew above 20.
He's growing
I'm
younger.
55, ma'am. I'm 55.
these you would remember that about the phones you had at that time, right? And look at the phones at that time when you were still in first year in
Right.
Jamaat, and the
Right.
phones today. Would
There
you
used to
have
be a
imagined?
song from Remo Fernandez about Graham Bell. It's
Hmm,
dead, and just as well with the telephones in India, you can jump into the well. So
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Society has changed, and so have our values. Our values have changed. Our ideas are changed. Have changed. Our psychological minds have changed. Today, you talk to youngsters, which are the words they know really, really well. They are aware of toxic relationships, boundaries, etc., etc. This word boundary, I was in Mali in West Africa, and I was a counselor in the school over there. It was an American international school. So the computer teacher was absent, and I was sent over there just to keep an eye on the kids. So I had these kids sitting all around me, and they were on their computers, and I was sitting in the center. So one of the boys looks back at me and says, "Mrs. Singh, you are invading my space. You can't do that." I was sitting behind him. I was sitting in the center. So by chance, I was behind him. So now I was not used to such things in India. No kid would have said it at that time. So I looked at him and I thought, and I suddenly I replied. I said, "Sorry, right now you are looking back and you are invading my space." So I said, "I'm not. I'm just sitting where I'm supposed to sit. You turned around." So this is the way the kids thought then, and today, which is about 10 years later, things have changed even more. And that is why, if we break up into the changes that are there today, and if I ask each one of you, which would you think are the positive changes and which are the negative changes, and then we should ask those who are in the 30s and 40s if they agree with what we are saying are the negative changes and the positive changes.
Ma'am, I think the biggest change has been change over from the joint family to a nuclear family.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Youngsters, what are the biggest changes according to you?
There's nobody in his 30s in the group.
Okay.
Abhijit is there.
Everybody in
Abhijit
the
is the
50s.
youngest, I think. Abhijit Sengupta.
Abhijit?
Don't think I'm the youngest, but
Your youngest around.
close to.
Yeah, tell me, Abhijit.
Yeah, no, so ma'am, technology definitely is one thing which, it's really gone from what we've seen, 50 years back, 40 years back till today. That's definitely one thing. But more, yes, I think I don't know whether you want to call it family dynamics or societal dynamics, how we interact. Like the example you gave of school, even talking like that to a teacher when we were in school was impossible. We and today, and I think that, and this is a standard joke that we are seeing as parents. I think that, in our times, if we performed bad in school, our parents would drag us by our ear to the teachers. Now, if your kids perform bad in school, the kids take the parents to school to shout at the teachers.
Exactly. So
Other
that
thing
is what I'm
which is
saying. So I don't know if you ask a youngster to come and tell you, they will say talk about it completely differently. I'm into career counseling, so I'm with kids every day, kids and their parent, and it's great fun. It's great, very interesting to see the parents trying to say what they think their children will be okay with.
as one of the oldest people in this gathering,
Yes, sir.
we say that what has changed beyond recognition is the vocabulary used by the youngsters.
Yes.
Now they speak in a language which we do not understand. And when my kids were born, which was in the late 60s, I used to tell my son कि देख बेटा मैं तेरा बाप हूँ तू मेरा बाप नहीं है.
Hmm.
But even that is now become, even that is now outdated.
Yes.
And when I see my grandkids, there is a difference of 3 years between the two of them. And it's like a different generation, even with the 3-year difference.
Exactly. Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and everything is there. So that's why the thing is that what do we do? How do we deal with this? How do we deal with these changes? Do we say, oh, they're all bad changes? So, but we have to look for the best way. So here's a breakdown of key societal changes, their impacts, and how to navigate them. One is, of course, the technological and digital revolution. And what I tell students is we can't move back. It's only going to go ahead. It's only going to go forward, these technological changes that are coming. So we have to learn how to take advantage of them and not make them a disadvantage. It's not going to be easy. I was discussing this with JL the other day, and he says, Ki, you tell me when there was a TV and new TV. I remember one day in Jamalpur, and we had some, I don't know if we had any, no, we didn't have the boys over that day. But the world match, World Cup match, soccer match was happening. And our bedroom, and then there was the TV room. Those who had been to our house in those days in Jamalpur would know. So I suddenly woke up at about 1 o'clock at night, and I could see light from that room, the TV room. So I said, JL, I think the light is on in that room. And JL goes and doesn't come back for the next 2 hours. And then I get up. I said, Ye to bahut ho gaya. So I walked into that room and I see 3 of them very quietly lying on their stomachs and sitting like this, watching the match. Right? So that time, these were interesting things. But today, it is much more that is available. And children don't want to share the screen with their parents because what they want to see is very different from what we want. Like today, you all must have heard of the addiction to these K-pops and Japanese pop. It's called J-pop and J-dramas and K-dramas. So there was this girl from modern school, Barakhamaru. You all must have heard of the school's name, at least those in Delhi. So she had come and her parents were fed up and she's always watching K-drama. She's always listening to K-music and this and that. So the girl said, ma'am, have you heard it? I said, yeah, my granddaughter was listening to it once. I have an idea. So she said, ma'am, it's the best thing that could have happened. It's great. I said, okay. Luckily for me, 3 days before that, some parents had come with their daughter from Jhajjar. Jhajjar is a small city in Haryana. So I said, her parents also had the same complaint. That वो सारा टाइम के ड्रामा देखती है और K-pop. Now this boarding school student could not, digest the fact that she had something in common with a child from Jhajjar. And her parents ring me up and say, ma'am, उसने छोड़ दिया.
Oh, this is largely due to television. The
Yeah.
television is exposing most of us to a lifestyle that we could only dream of.
Exactly. So television, technology, phones. So if I ask them, are you watching the television? No. Who watches the TV? They have everything with them on their iPads and on their phones. So they don't watch these movies. So the change that has happened from analog to digital, advent of the internet, smartphones, social media, artificial intelligence. So today, Narayan, you are here. So nowadays, when we are counseling the young students and they say that, ma'am, I want to do computer science engineering. No, they don't say that. They said, I want to do AI or machine learning. Of course, I don't know anything about it. I don't even pretend to know about it. But I know this, that about 3 years back, we had not heard of AI. So I tell them this, that today AI is a big thing, but tomorrow it might not be there. Something beyond it will be there. Then what will you do? So it is better to have strong skills in the basic. And this I understood from one professor at Bennett University. He was the dean. It was newly launched and had gone for the launch. And he gave us the curriculum of first year, computer science engineering curriculum. And he did not give us a second year's curriculum. So I asked him, sir, why aren't you giving us that? Let us know that. He said, in computers, you cannot give the curriculum 1 year ahead because it's going to change so much. So the same thing is happening, that this is moving too fast and the students are also having a tough time digesting it. So how do you deal with, because what is happening is my friend is doing it, he knows so much, I don't know it, and the children are keeping awake at night to be able to be one on one with the others. So how do they're going into depressions, they're discriminating against themselves. No, they don't even need others to discriminate against them. They are discriminating against them. I'm not as good as. So this is what is happening. So how does one deal with it? How does a person who's our age group deal with it? How does a person who is of maybe 50s or 60s, whose kids are now in their 12th grade or first year of college, how will they deal with it? You talk about digital detox and boundaries. It's not easy. They will find some way and means to go to it. You can do what you want. So the only way, I think, is helping them to think more clearly.
Sushma, I want to ask you one question.
Hanji ji.
Most of the problem arises from the fact that the sense of self-worth is changing.
Correct.
And this is leading to a lot of mental health issues. So
Yeah.
how do one cope with that and how does one deal with that?
So these mental health issues also, sir, there are many of them. I will call them, many of these mental health issues are psychosomatic ones. It's easy to say I am not okay. Because if I am not okay, I don't have to prove anything. This is youngsters today. About 15 years back, a mother came to me and she says, जी मैं तो साइकियाट्रिस्ट पर जाती हूँ रोज, मेरी तो काउंसलिंग हो रही है, मैं तो डिप्रेशन में रहती हूँ. And her daughter comes next day and tells me, ma'am, ये तो इन लोग का वो हो गया है कि मैं 2 साइकियाट्रिस्ट पास जाती हूँ, मैं 1 साइकियाट्रिस्ट पास जाती हूँ, मेरी इतनी प्रॉब्लम्स है. That has also become a kitty party discussion. You are paying so much. So today kids have learned the same thing. So the thing is that human part is missing in schools. It's missing at home with both parents working. Yes. So the child sometimes the child is isolated, alone, and the computer or whatever is his friend or her friend. And they're learning anything and everything. It is not only watching things, they are in touch through memes. I did not know the meaning of meme till I came to hear about it, that you are in touch with the elders who are discussing movies, and you also get involved in it. So it's a very sad situation. I don't blame the kids, But the good part of it, there are enough who are not into all this. And I would say recently I read about this North South thing, and from the students I have, touch wood in the South, because still they're still maintaining the old customs at home, at least. Those children are more connected and they are ready to study. They're ready, they're excited about these things. And it is not so much party life. It's happening there also, but not so much. So that's where maybe I don't know how we can bring them back.
I'd like to add something here. You know, I've listened to the interaction. Hello, Sushma.
Yes.
With Vinay and what I've heard Linda now. You know, Australia, of course, is banning this. And,
Yes, they are doing that 16 years.
Yeah, see the reason they are giving, and I think it's something that if you're only interacting with the virtual world through the computers, then you don't know how to act with the real world. So when you actually have to face the real world, you don't know what it's going to be like. And especially till the age of about 16, a child's brain is actually forming and most active. So after 16, of course, the neurons start shutting down till about 20, and then you form your personality. So if you are only dealt with a digital world and you haven't dealt with the real world, then how will you deal with the real world when you come to it? That's one thing. Second thing is, though the digital world is trying to make us connect with everybody, but in fact, it is making us as individuals who are not connected with everybody and becoming totally self-evident. So we have got a big problem with the digital world or this technology. And I think society has to learn how to handle this technology and how to ensure. Because you just imagine when you grew up in a village, everybody knew everyone and everybody knew how to behave, and the rituals of life had some meaning. And that gave you a sort of sense of balance. Now, here with the digital world, with the world all connected all together, you are actually going with virtual in the virtual space. You forget how to deal with the real world. How do we handle that? That I think is the biggest problem.
Exactly.
But Sas, I would add to what you said. If you've read Yuval Noah Harari, for example, his thesis has been that we are now only nodes in a network. We've ceased to be individuals in our own right. And, in his book, 21 Lessons for the 21st Century, he's enlarged on this theme. He's saying that there is going to be a time when you will be manipulated by the powers that be, and you will be powerless to stop it.
Correct. I know, and it's a sad, what I feel sad for, we people have already lived our lives. Yes, I think we had a good life, very good life. And we are, in fact, Jail and I took a, informed decision to shift to a senior living community. Yes, it is at Bhiwadi. And I must say, we have gone back to reality. We've gone back to being in a society. We've gone back to meeting people, talking to people, doing things that we would like to do. Yes, and not be considered old, doddering people. Yes, here everybody is there and somebody is learning salsa, somebody is in a readers club, somebody is in a music club, etc. And actually, you feel ki okay, I'm living life again. But anyway, we have lived our lives, good or bad or whatever, and we never had such complicated lives as the kids have today. Today there are drugs. Today there is technology. Today there are parents and children not agreeing with each other at all. Whenever I have counseling sessions, I'll have mother looking in one direction, father looking in one direction, child looking in the third direction. Like a father is thinking of his pocket and he says, and seeing the world, he knows what's happening everywhere. I want my child to study in India. The mother says, no, I'm sending my child to US. I said, but you can see the situation there. You want him to come back, to be sent back? She says, but all my kitty party friends, their kids are going. How can you blame the child? This is what is. So
That is because we ourselves have become individualistic. We
Yes.
are not part of a larger social setup. People were part of extended families. People were part of a group in which you lived. Now we've been atomized actually. So then, how to handle that? I don't know, because
Exactly. So that's why I thought about this, having this discussion, that we as elders, uh, and with the help of the younger ones in our group, have to find ways and means, at least from in our country. Yes, what do we do? How do we make this become better? How do we work with this? Work back in our society. Some things are happening even in our country. By the way, we are planning to have till the age of 16. There's going to be a ban on social media. That itself will be a very big thing that can happen, if it can happen. If it
No,
can happen,
why have
I
we
doubt
had
it.
this?
I doubt it because there's always
a way out.
a way out when no matter what you do as parents.
Yeah.
So what I find is that you drive the kid to socializing with people who do have access to all this.
Correct. No, one day I was talking to a mother and I said, look, your child was out till 10 o'clock at night yesterday. Why don't you stop the child? Be with the child. You be with the kid at night, sit with him. She said, but then what about our social life?
Yeah, I know.
Now the parents are going to be out till 12. If you come to the education sector, uh, we are making classes within classes, even in the education sector.
Yeah.
So recently I had gone to this place, Ahmedabad University. It's a very good university, and I had gone for a counselor's meet. And I've been lucky, I've been able to be in all the boards, whether it was a CBSE board or an IB board or a Cambridge board, in various parts of India as well as outside. And what I see over there, we were all counselors sitting there. We must have been about 80 of us. And I find a group had formed, a separate group had formed of IB teachers, IB counselors. You must be aware about the International Baccalaureate system, and who thought that their system and their everything was superior to the CBSE, etc., etc. So they got up and they asked the dean, who was addressing us, that we would like you to address us separately, because we are without saying so, we are superior to the CBSE schools, etc. So because of my gray hair, I'm able to get away with a lot. So I got up and I told them, I said, look, who gave you the opinion or the idea that you're better? You aren't better. It's an education system which is there. It's a good system, I agree. But that doesn't make you better or those kids better. We have very good kids everywhere else, but they're not able to afford your IB. It's too expensive. Please do not make another class in our country. So we are responsible. We are doing this. We are teaching our children, oh, if you are from this school, you are so great. If you are from this school, you aren't good enough. So even we elders, I feel parents need to talk to the children and not also follow it just because others are doing it.
No, that's a very important point. So what I believe you're trying to say to all of us is that social divisions must be done away with.
Yes. And in fact, 3-4 days back, I had a call from a person whom I did not know at all. And he must be in his 20s, 27, 28. And he was from a tier 3 city, tier 3 college, university. So he says, ma'am, I got your name from somebody. I need your help. And this is where I would like people like Narayan to come forward. also who are into this line now. Narayan is doing very well at psychology, and I don't know what all he's doing. He's way beyond me today. So this guy says, ma'am, when I was in college, uh, we were all kids in a three-tier because some of us did not get admission in the better colleges. Some of us could not afford them. So we are here. Yes. From a tier 3 school, tier 3 city to a tier 3 college. It's not that they were not intelligent kids there, but they had a opinion or thinking that they would never do well in life. So this guy had felt it and wanted to do career counseling for these university students to get in touch with companies which would take them, train them, train their skills, unko skills बढ़ा के करो. They were all doing BTech, VTech, all that stuff. But this was the picture that he gave me. I was very happy to hear him. I said, sure, I am right now not at home. When we come back, you please come and sit with me. We'll plan it out. Because that is the best thing we can do in our country today. Let us start where we are. These people need help. Nobody is there to tell them.
The only issue is that the increase in population has outgrown the availability of jobs.
But there are jobs where you can just work on skills. I've heard that these people, Swiggy, the delivery boys are earning so much today, right? If we let these people know that skills are going to be the future, work on them. Everybody cannot be the topper in an IIT. It's not possible. So,
Sushma,
Raji.
Australia is the center of vocational training.
I know that, yes.
That to Perth. I think they prepare boys to be employable.
So
Most of us who have finished our careers will
then,
confirm that today a fresh engineer is no use to me.
So we have to look for companies and connect them with these colleges and these people. Then only things will work, isn't it? So there's nobody. In fact, we have counselors all over the streets of Delhi and Bombay who are charging millions and lakhs and lakhs. Those kids don't need it. Either their parents have big businesses or they're going to get jobs in any case. There are those who need it now. If we want our country to improve, we'll have to do that. So culturally, sociologically, we have to work on our country right now, on our societies. Then only can we work ahead. All the youngsters over here, 40s, 50s, please talk.
So, by the
we need your help.
Can I add something,
Yeah.
Sushma?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah, I have been teaching in this MBAs and IIMs for I think 30 years now. And I have been seeing not only the MBAs at a certain age, 20, 22, like that, and the changing attitudes and their problems, but also the alumni who come after 10 years, 10, 20 years, and all that for the reunion. See, one thing I notice now in all these generations is the sense of insecurity about everything that we never experienced at all before. Not this level. Certainly there was insecurity, but not of this kind.
Correct.
They are not sure of their job. They are not sure of whether they can take a car on an EMI because tomorrow they won't be in a job to pay that EMI. Skills, what skills are relevant today will not be relevant tomorrow. And it is so fast that you cannot really imagine that the persons who are brilliant in the class today because they got a certain skill, they are going to do anything at all after 5 years. The whole thing is completely changed. In education sector, I cannot teach them now because of this AI coming there. What case preparation they can do on an AI? What discussions really are important now in the class? I don't know, actually. Frankly, we are all exploring. I am not teaching the last 1 year, but we are all exploring how to do it. But I am pretty certain one thing, even from the school level, that one needs to do is to the ability to tackle this uncertainty, live with it, number one. And number two, to have to, the world is getting polarized, very different kinds of point of view. and there's no use avoiding it. But the ability to have two opposite point of views at the same time in your mind without rejecting it, then say, this is absurd and this is mine and this is the right view. You cannot get anywhere with that kind of a situation.
Correct. Very
So how
correct.
do you tolerate this ambiguity? How do you build the ability to manage this ambiguity so that you can switch? Your point. Yes, there was a valid point of view on this, which I understood now. It is this that is constant. This, I think, AI will not be able to teach. They will never be able to teach this kind of a thing. And to me, I think as educators, the one has to really focus on how much of a questioning attitude, how much of an ability to listen to others, and ability to weigh in the other points of view are building into the.
Your child comes and says, my friend has this, why don't we have it? So everybody is going around. So that is why right now what I feel is that we need to look at what we, each person, each one of us, we can't do too much. I always tell my students also, even when you're doing community work or social work, don't try and do big things. You won't be able to achieve it. Think of small things. Maybe just not physically adopt, but otherwise adopt a child in the village. Go find out some child and educate that child and follow up that education. Follow it up. हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है. Then maybe we will be able to bring up these people also, and those who are in the cities who are thinking that, oh, we know it all. When they start, I had a person who was staying with us for 27 years. His daughter did her MBA. They lived in our house only, and when she finished she spoke fluent English, very, very good. So one of my students who came from the top school was trying to show up. I said, wait, I want to call somebody. I called this girl and I asked her a few questions and she answered. And then I said, okay, thank you, beta. Then I told this boy, you know what? In a few years, they are going to be your bosses because they understand the meaning of hard work. You have it all too easy with you. So a little, if we people start doing, maybe it might have a roller effect on those who are not understood the value of these things. And yes, values are required. In the olden days in schools, we had moral science classes. That's all gone. Now they are trying to bring them back. So let's hope for the best. But yes,
Actually, the one thing what I want to say is that this lack of respect for the teacher.
Totally.
In society itself, what used to happen is that when we in the past, the teacher was one of the most respected individuals, and you respected the teacher. Today, in these very expensive schools, like British school and all, the teachers, the students come from such backgrounds and money that they don't care much for the teacher.
Because they're going to get a tuition at home.
Yeah, and I'll give you an example, Kitty, she was teaching somewhere in the British school, and I think she wore a diamond ring with her ring and all that. One of the students says, how do you have it? Teachers are meant to be poor. So, there is now in society, in our Indian society, the teacher is not held to the level at which it should be. And if you are not going to respect the teacher and the children themselves look down upon the children, then what kind of education are you going to be imparting?
But today's situation, students do not talk about the school teachers. Their mothers ring me up and tell me, Madam ji, iski coaching na ye so and so sir kar rahe hain. It's a very big thing. And that sir one day rings me up. He introduces himself as, मैं so and so sir हूँ, आपने मेरा नाम तो सुना होगा ही. So, and I also remember when I was in modern school once and I asked the students, why aren't you coming to class? Oh, teacher doesn't know how to teach us. I said, nonsense, they're very good. Nobody here is without an MA, if not more than that, MA or MSc. Then I said, किससे tuition लेते? Our school teachers aren't good. I have a DPS teacher who's teaching me. I go for coaching to a DPS teacher's class. I said, very good. A few days later, I had a DPS student with me. And he said the same thing. And he said, I have a model school teacher who's teaching me. That same teacher who was put down by the modern school child himself, the DPS child was studying from that teacher. So,
You know, see, I tell you how society has changed. In the 50s, and I studied in the 50s, I think a lot of us must have done that. Amrinder Singh was in our class. He was a Maharaja. He was Yuvraj. His father that time was the Raj Pramukh and all that. But he tried to get uppity. The father said, you better not. Today, if you have the same thing, something, and what you know what will happen.
yeah, the father will come and fight with the school.
Yeah, and I have been on the board of Sanat. I've seen the change of the parents. The parents used to tell the children, you will listen to the teacher. Now they come and create problems for you.
There's a reason for this. There is a psychological reason for this. Today, the children are holding their parents at ransom. Okay? They are emotionally and otherwise also blackmailing their parents. Parents are scared of their children today.
Really?
Yes, because the children today, if you say something to them, you never know, the child might go and try and commit suicide. These are the threats that are happening.
Ma'am, with your permission, we have now completed 1 hour and 5 minutes.
Okay, I think we
So,
should.
yeah, it's about, if there's, we can conclude also, but I would like to say it's thanks to this digital connectivity that we've had this
Yes.
wonderful interaction with you and had the benefit of your thoughts on societal changes over the last 50 years. It's been a wonderful interaction.
So
And
there's a lot more, Ji, but the only thing is that we cannot solve everything, but I would request everybody,
yes, of course,
anybody
the
who
pace of
has any
change.
suggestions, you're welcome to give them to me.
Yes, if anybody else wants to add something, please do.
I can only say that we need a second session to continue from where we are leaving today.
Yeah, I think
Yes,
that's the
I
best
think it's
idea.
been a wonderful session.
Yeah.
And
So,
thank you so very
If you
much.
organize second session, I will be there.
Yes.
But we will look forward to a special session from you, sir.
Yes,
We want to have one
that's a lot
session.
of learning. That's a lot of learning for all of us. Yes.
There is
Anyway, thank you all of you,
Thank you,
all
sir.
of you for
Thank you,
listening
ma'am.
to all the whatever I've been saying. I've
Thank
just been, it's from my heart. It's
Thank
not
you.
knowledge. Yes, it's my heart speaking. And I would only request, as people from our age group, we have to come down to the children's levels, try and understand them too. And then only can we move forward.
Exactly.
Yes, then we can actually do
Absolutely.
something. And whatever we can do, even if we can help one kid, let us go ahead and do it. Thank you.
Yep.
And Narayan, I would have liked to have seen more of you. Thank you.